Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Let's continue implementing the CoreUI and the reusable components. Right now we're going to implement the snack bar message. Under components, I'm going to create here a new folder. I'm going to call it snack bar. We're going to define first of all the snack bar severity. And just to optimize the compilation of this file, I'm going to annotate it with frozen. You can use basically frozen if you are 100% sure that this particular enum is not going to change in the future. We're not going to add new cases. Now I would like to assign to each state or to each case a dedicated icon from the system name. It's going to be basically an extension function, get icon resource name. It's going to give us a string. In case of success, we will return check mark circle and fill. In case of, for example, error, mark circle fill. For info, it's going to be, for example, info circle fill. Those are the names of the predefined icons in SwiftUI. And the last case, which is basically the warning. It should be error, exclamation mark, triangle, fill. Under media, we have the icons, and let's try to use those icons in our project. I'm going to do initially both, just for declaring the icons, and they're going to see if you fail to do that, we're going to use the icon resource name. So basically what we're gonna do here is, it has to give us a string. I'm going to use the same thing, but instead of, let's say, for example, success, let's copy this, check circle. For error, let's choose, for example, the close circle. I'm gonna copy this. And for info and warning, let's choose information. And let's delete this. Let's go ahead and create a new file, snackbar theme. The snackbar theme, it's gonna be basically the same principle of the theme under of our application. Success background, success. Try to copy the same thing. And one thing that I don't think that I have mentioned here, how to handle under SwiftUI the dark and light theme. Basically, let's take, for example, the background, so you can understand it even better. For the background, we have two definitions. We have any appearance and dark appearance. I think it's pretty straightforward. Under any appearance, it's gonna be handled under dark and light theme, under light theme. And in the dark, we have to specify here the dark version of this background. On the other hand, on splash screen, we have only one for the universal, which means that under light theme or dark theme, it's gonna have only one color. However, on background, it has for light theme this color and for dark theme this color. Basically, for the rest of the colors, I have defined on primary, on success, on surface, on warning, on primary, success, surface variants, and warning. Those are the values under light theme and dark theme. All right. Now let's come back to the theme. Next, we have to specify basically the bundle module, CoreUI. This one should be static. And with the same manner, we're going to define the rest of the colors. And you can override this according to your liking, if you will, but this is all you need. I'm going to add here just a simple function or a useful function on color, so we can easily access the snack bar background color according to the severity. The same principle for on background color. And that's all for the snack bar theme. As we have done basically under the modal, we need to implement the snack bar controller. Under the Kotlin application, we have defined the snack bar data. Therefore, let's go ahead and create the snack bar data. It is basically a state that's gonna hold for us the message of the snack bar, the severity, the duration is visible, and the icon name. Let's come back to the snack bar severity. For the icon name, I think it's better and it's more readable to create it as a dedicated enumeration. It's going to be more readable than a string. And let's go back to the severity. Instead of string, it's going to be a snack bar icon. And this should be success icon, error icon. And for the information, it should be whatever here. Let's call here default or whatever. You are free to do whatever you want if you want to add actually another icon, but I'm just gonna leave it at this. And under the constructor of the snack bar data, instead of string, it has to be snack bar icon. And this one, it should be severity get asset icon. And I would like to implement another function, which is basically the copy function. I'm gonna add all of this, and this function should give us the snack bar data. And that's all for the implementation of the snack bar data. It's gonna have one state, which is the snack bar data. Function is going to show the snack bar as well as dismiss the snack bar. We have to pass the message to be shown, and the severity and duration, data equal data, and copy message, snack bar severity, duration as well, is visible true. And it should be visible with animation. Therefore, I'm gonna wrap this with animation, easing out, and the duration. Let's implement the function that's gonna hide this snack bar with animation, easing out. Or we can just do here, for example, for the entrance, it's gonna be ease in. To hide ease out. As an initial value, let's assign MC message info to come back to the initial value, and duration 3 seconds is visible false. Now let's implement the view of the snack bar. We need basically the state, and the state here, it shouldn't be a normal state, it should be binding. Why, you might ask? Because we need to create a two-way binding between whoever is going to control this snack bar from the outside and this component. Basically, it's going to be a two-way binding between the snack bar controller and the snack bar view. If you did it as a state, you're not going to be able to change the internal values under the snack bar controller observable object. The corner radius, font of the text is going to be used under the snack bar message, and the max width to control how much it's going to occupy parent component. Now we have to create the initializer. All right, for the data, it shouldn't be like this. We need to add here binding of type snack bar data. For the corner radius, let's assign 4 by default. For the font, as a default font, let's say system and size 14, for example. For the max width, let's do infinity, and the closure. Instead of self and data, it should be underscore and data to initialize the binding, and for the rest is correct. The representation of this snack bar view, it's gonna consist of a horizontal stack, gonna place at the left corner the image and the spacing and a text component. And we can access the image from the data and icon and the raw value, because under the icon we have defined check circles, close circle, and information that matches basically the same resource name under the icons defined in the media catalog. Now we got the image, and for the record, the image is not a system name, it is the asset from the assets folder or the media catalog. Therefore, we have to use here the bundle to access this catalog by doing module, because we are still on the CoreUI module. This should be resizable. Reassign a new size for this image on background color and the severity as a parameter. Aspect ratio, fit. The next component, which is the text, we can access the message from data. For the foreground color, it's going to be the same thing here. For the font, it's going to be font. Align this leading. The entire H stack is going to occupy the max width. For the max height, let's say, for example, 35, and the alignment leading. Let's add some padding horizontally, 12, for example, and vertically, 4, for example. Now for the background, which is very important, snack bar background color, and we have to provide here the severity. Let's assign the corner radius. To style this a little bit, let's add some shadow. Overall padding, horizontal 16, and we have to assign the padding from the bottom, and we have to calculate basically the bottom as a padding. You can hard code this, but it's not a good idea. And we have to calculate it according to the safe area. After the initializer, I'm gonna add here a private variable. I'm gonna call it padding bottom, CG float. We need to get the safe area inset from the current window. UI application, shared, connected scenes, and first. And because it's nullable, that's why we have done this if statement. And we have to cast it to UI window scene. All right. Now we have the window scene. We're going to get the safe area or the bottom safe area value. Window scene and windows first safe area insets and the bottom section. Otherwise, going to do here a fallback value. Let's say, for example, 16. And as a fallback here, it's going to be 16 as well. Now, if it's visible, I'm going to move basically the snack bar or the entire component from bottom to top. If it's visible, it's gonna be 0. Otherwise, the height, and we have to add it at bottom. Basically, it's going to disappear from the screen. Therefore, I'm going to fold this section. I'm gonna copy this. And because our snack bar is gonna be placed at the bottom of the screen, I'm gonna wrap everything with a stack or v-stack, and I will place here the entire component. We need to add here a spacer, as I said before. Let's fold this section. I want to access here basically the entire screen width. Therefore, I'm gonna use the geometry reader and add the rest of the component. Access here the screen height, padding bottom. Now for the definition of the animation, it is easy and out, and the value is going to control the visibility, which is data and is visible. Fold this. For the entire v-stack, it's going to occupy the max width, infinity. Ignore safe area by adding edges, ignoring safe area, the bottom area. And we have to specify how to dismiss this particular component. Therefore, we're going to observe the changes of the visibility. And if it's after a certain amount or a certain timeout, we're going to make it disappear. And I can access here the new value visible. Now we're going to check if it's visible. After a certain timeout, we're going to make it invisible. And I said before, you have two options, whether to use task or to use async after. I'm going to show you how to do the other case or the other option by using dispatch, queue, and main, and async after. Basically, it's going to run a certain function after a timeout from now plus data and the duration. We're gonna call on close. And that's all we have for the implementation of the snack bar. It's a good idea actually to add a modifier for this. It's gonna contain basically the same dependencies as the snack bar view. Let's add to it an initializer, and we have to implement the body function. And with the same principle that we have done under the modifier of modal, it should be at the top of the parent components of our application. In our case, it has to be at the top of layout component that we're going to create at the main section. The content, over the content, it has to be the snack bar component. And that's pretty much it for the snack bar modifier. As we have done before, we have created a snack bar host or the modal host for this modal view. Let's create a host for this snack bar. It's going to be basically an extension function on view host, and it has to return some view. We're going to use modifier or self and modifier. And we have to pass the modifier that we have created, which is snack bar modifier. All right, so let's create a snack bar preview. First of all, I'm going to provide a state object snack bar controller. Let's add here just a button. For the action here, we're going to show the snack bar. In the Z stack, which is the parent component of our preview, let's add here where it's going to be placed the snack bar. It's going to be on the parent component, which is Z stack. And let's add here the snack bar host. Underneath, we're going to provide the environment object, which is the snack bar controller. Basically, this is the same thing that we're gonna do under our main section of the application after finishing all the features. So for the data, it's gonna be snack bar controller and data because it's a binding. For the font, I'm gonna do here body medium, and on close, we will do snack bar controller and dismiss. We need to do snack bar controller and show success snack bar, for example. Another button, show error snack bar. For this one, I'm gonna put something like success snack bar. For the severity, it is success error. Uncomment this and we are good to go. All right, we have two buttons. Let's see if we have implemented this correctly. We have the snack bar. As you can see here, it's gonna disappear after the timeout. Let's show the error snack bar. And we have the error snack bar. You can add at the right corner of the snack bar another icon to close the snack bar, but for me, I am so happy with this implementation. I'm gonna leave it at this. And as I said before, it is all right. Do not be hard on yourself and try to replicate 100% the layout and the visual. It's okay actually to have a little difference here and there. Let's go ahead and create the first one, which is the discount animation, to see how to use the .lottie animation. The file name is discount offer. We need to get this particular file name from the bundle module, auto place true, use frame interpolation to false, and I'm going to customize this loop. I'm going to assign it here under .looty animation view. Let's run the preview to see how it's going to look like. The last component is basically the page 401. And again, I'm going to replicate the same layout from the Kotlin version, the Looty animation. The text that's going to be shown, as well as the button within the VStack. I'm going to push the entire thing height and the UI screen, main, and bounds height, 45% of the screen height. Perhaps there is another way or a better way to do so to overcome this particular extra space between elements. Underneath, I'm going to place here the text, and we have to access basically the text under the string resource catalog, which is basically 401. To access that particular string resource, we have said before that we're going to use something like local keys, text 404, for example, and localized bundle, which is very important, module, to access the current string resource. We are not hard coding anything, which is very good if you want to access the text under end-to-end test. For the font, it's going to be Lato, body large. For the frame, max width infinity, multi-line or multi-line text alignment center. For the foreground color on background color, and let's give it a fixed size. We are interested only in the vertical one. For the horizontal, it's going to be false. And for the vertical size, it has to be true. Underneath, we have to place the button action on back home. And I'm going to assign it here in the initializer. HStack to place the icon as well as the text. Let's access this particular icon. Let's specify here the bundle, scale to fit. Let's give it a width, for example, 18, and foreground color on primary, and we are good to go. This is the text. We're going to just to do here the font, foreground color, and on primary. We have to customize this button because it's very dry, to be honest. So we have to do here button padding and all 6, and I'm going to add here an overall background, theme, and primary, some corners, theme, and basically medium. And let's add the padding, and that's all for the button. Now for the entire thing, which is for the page, the background color, theme, and background. Now I'm going to create here a simple page or simple preview. It's going to be 401. All right, we can't see the Looty animation for some reason. I'm going to delete this spacer. I'm going to fold this. I'm going to change this background to transparent or no background at all. Let's do the padding top. It's 400. But what I have to do here, let's switch or to flip. Let's switch to landscape. It's under scroll view. Let's switch the orientation. All right, so because I'm going to, I'm not going to do here scroll view, I'm going to delete this because we need to have in our application just one scroll view. I'm gonna add here just an extra 10, if you will. Let's switch back to the normal orientation. And that's pretty much it for today's video. For the next tutorial, we're going to implement the footer of our application, as well as the header, warning message, and theme switch. I hope you have learned something new. See you in the next one, and happy coding!